What's up, concert addicts? Johnny Kinswater here with Concert Addiction with some festival news. And it's not good festival news, unfortunately. The news that dropped today is that the Grandoozy Festival that happened last year in Colorado and was poised to be an annual event is taking a hiatus, they claim, but all we know is that the festival is not happening this year. And I'll go ahead and read the statement released from them right off the top. This just says, after a successful debut in September of 2018, Grandoozy will be taking a hiatus in 2019. We feel a special connection to Denver and its people and intend to use this hiatus as an opportunity to create a festival that is even more unique, sustainable, and integrated into the region's local and creative community. We're proud of the world-class festival we delivered for a world-class city and are truly humbled by the praise and support Grandoozy received in its inaugural year from the fans, artists, vendors, and the city of Denver. So, that doesn't explain much. It doesn't answer any of the questions I have as to why. It pretty much just says that they're going on hiatus and that they're inevitably going to return, but we don't know when. And this is interesting to me because I doubt it was as known unless you're in the local Denver area, but this thing was kind of a fiasco to get off the ground. Superfly was the promoters behind it, or the organizers behind it. They also put on Bonnaroo and a couple other of the major festivals around. Apparently they've been looking to come to Denver for a couple of years, but before 2018 when the festival happened, I'd been seeing in the headlines for at least the past 2 to 3 years about different public meetings and city council meetings and blah blah blah. It took a lot to get this thing off the ground. A lot of agreements with the city of Denver, plus the golf course where they held it. It was a big fiasco, so I'm surprised that because they were able to get it off the ground and rolling, that they're not gonna keep it going consistently right out the gate, which is what I would have expected. I also I have a picture of the lineup because I just want to roll through it real quick in case you're unfamiliar with Grandoozy. This was a festival that took place last year. As I mentioned, these guys put on Bonnaroo. So the idea is to have a giant, massive music festival that caters to a lot of different audiences and also is inclusive in more than just the music. But I'll start with the music. The headliners last year were Kendrick Lamar, Florence and the Machine, and Stevie Wonder. But there was also performances from the Chainsmokers, Logic, Sturgill Simpson, St. Vincent, Young the Giant, The War on Drugs, Snow the Product, Daniel Caesar, Bishop Briggs. That kind of gives you a picture of the variety of acts that they brought in for this event and what they were going for. And they also, it was a pretty elaborate thing. I didn't go, but I heard from people that did go, although I didn't actually know anybody that went to this, but just from what I read online, they put the spotlight on all the local vendors and all the local restaurants came out to sell food and stuff, and so I heard that was great. They also had other things like yoga classes and different things like that were options for attendance of the festival, and they also had a lot of local artists on smaller stages around the place too. But what I mentioned earlier, so the event sounds awesome, right? But what I mentioned earlier about not knowing anybody that went to this, that was kind of a red flag for me. Because around here, if something big happens, you usually hear, or you have at least one or two friends that go. You usually hear somebody went to this thing because this big giant thing's happening. And none of my friends went. I didn't know anybody personally that attended besides some people that I know through third person that played on the local artist stage that they had there. So the question is, was this a financial decision or what? Obviously, an event like this cannot be easy to organize, and that probably was a big part of it too. Plus the agreement that they had with Denver and with the golf course not only involved money, but all the time that the golf course had to be out of operation to prepare and then clean up might be a factor. These all might be factors. We don't know. Honestly, I think, and I don't know the numbers. I'm sure it was a success. They tend to say in the statement, they tend to make you believe that it was very successful. So I just don't know why they wouldn't try to do it again. And Denver's not, I mean, for an event of this size, it might be. But there's a lot of festivals in Denver, or at least in the Denver area, and so I don't think it would be that hard for them to find another venue. So I don't think that was the issue. Riot Fest a couple of years ago got their venue bailed on them like 2 months before the show, and they were able to find a place to still hold the event. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but it is interesting, and I'll make videos if any more news drops as to why exactly this is happening. After a supposedly successful first year. But, I mean, things like this happen. Rock in Rio, which today's actually the 35th anniversary of the first Rock in Rio. That's come back 7 different times. Warped Tour already looks like it's going to come back. Of course, Warped Tour is a touring event that's a little different, but festivals go away and then come back. So that's probably that's just what's going to happen here. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So that'll do it for my thoughts on that. Grandoozy, not happening in 2019. Hopefully we see it come back in 2020, and hopefully they have a lineup that's on par with their first one. So just wait and see. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Also check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/concertaddiction and concertaddiction.com. Never miss anything going on in the world of live music. Got a couple more videos to shoot today, so keep your eyes out for those. And until then, thanks for watching. Bye.